To unlearn, one must be in a state of consciousness that is not learning, and thus not recording, not remembering, not thinking with the ego at its center, which thought is always based, not distorting, not focusing on what is personally beneficial or hazardous. Science and religion have met a roadblock, which is each other, separately or together. The lenses have led us as far as they can take us in understanding things. Rational and emotional observation of reality is, and always will be, limited and incomplete. These avenues of inquiry into truth and meaning are thought and thus of limitation. Mark Twain said that faith, some may disagree, that's fine. Mark Twain said, faith was believing what you know ain't true. Noma, I read a book called Science and Religion, The Rocks of Ages by Stephen Jay Gould, who's an evolutionary biologist. And he came up with a theory called Noma. It's a framework of understanding the difference between science and religion. Noma means non-overlapping magisterium, which means science should keep to science and religion should keep to religion, which is why you go to a church and you don't see books on evolution or natural history, geology, and if you go to a natural history museum, you don't see Bibles, Qurans, Torahs, anything like that, because they're talking about different things. Morality and the meaning of life, science can't touch, because it's not directly observable, you can't measure it, and that's what science is about, the method of measuring, observing, things like that. However, Noma has its limits, just like science and religion do. Kurt Gödel, he was a mathematician. He came up with a theory called the incompleteness theory, which is a mathematical formula, I guess, that says you can't prove something, even if it's true, mathematically, because proof is what mathematics is based on. He was quoted as saying, "The truth cannot be caught in a finite net, or the mind. Water cannot be caught in a strainer." Now it's time for the good news. The good news. Unity. A gospel, if you will, because gospel means good spell, which means good news. There's good news to all this trouble that's going on. Dostoevsky said, "Beauty will save the world." That's something pretty profound, if you understand the essence of beauty, which is truth. Truth is beauty, so truth will save the world. Jesus said he was the truth. Pontius Pilate asked, "What's truth?" Louis Armstrong, when asked what jazz was, said, "If you gotta ask, you never know. You don't get to know." Beauty is what occupies the mind when thought ceases. When you get caught up in watching a bird fly, or a cloud, or a sunset, or anything like that, or somebody's face. It occupies the mind, and thoughts stop. The sense of who you are doesn't exist. It's just the reality of it. Truth is not a thing. Krishnamurti, he's a philosopher, teacher, you might say. He said, "Where there is beauty, there is total absence of thought." And it makes sense that beauty will save the world, because the thing that is essentially destroying the world is thought. So beauty will save the world, not thought. We think that technology will solve this. This will solve this. That's thinking. You can't think of it that way, because you're thinking. It's beauty. It's the simplicity of it. It's not a thing. It's not an idea. It's not a place. Like God, it's what we are. It's what everything is. It's beauty. It's love. It's reality. Appearances can be deceiving. All around us we see division, opposites, duality, objects separated through space and other objects. This is true on the surface of things, but truth has greater depths than what our quick glances reveal. We are like a boat skimming the water's surface, or running, zipping by all the vegetation above all the dirt and rock beneath. If one digs deeper, in order to get to the bottom of things, one sees a very different world, a world of one. Are opposites mutually exclusive? Do they only exist by themselves? Is the observer at all split from the observed? Top is forever linked with bottom. Front always linked with back. Good and bad, big and small, God and Satan, physical and spiritual, full and empty, greater and lesser, better and worse, ends and means, ends and beginnings, subjects, objects, plants and animals, love and hate, insides and outsides, life and death, past and future, infinite, finite, so on and so forth. When does one opposite turn into another? Does it jump a sharp dividing line, or is there a fuzz between them, linking them into a unit? There are only abstractions. These are only abstractions, these opposites. Perceptions to gauge the reality that exists only between them. Division and contrast aids in survival, but not in seeing the wholeness of reality. A single something, anything, holds a universe of beauty, a universe within a universe. We are made of innumerable waveforms. Look at your hands or your legs or in a mirror. Quarks, gluons, electrons, atoms, molecules, energy. A person is made of roughly, an average sized person, of roughly 100 trillion cells containing replicating sequences of DNA, of which all biological life is made and replicated through. You and I are just 2 people among 7 billion, among millions and millions of different other species that we don't even really know of. We are one species among millions that lives on a wet and green planet circling not too far from a star and not too close to the sun, which is the sun one of many trillions within a galaxy of over 100 billion within an infinite universe. We're an ecosystem just as the Earth is and as the universe is. Our skin and gastrointestinal tract contain more bacteria than our humanly perceived cells, bones, skin, muscles, things like that. We're an ecosystem. The observer is the observed. One is many, and many is one. We are the part in the whole, and the whole in the part. A spoonful of dirt or swamp water teems with millions of microorganisms. Stare at a tree until you really see it. Don't take 5 minutes, take 10, take half an hour, take a whole day. Until you see it as yourself, until you see it as the sun, the wind, the dirt, however long it takes. After you've done that with a tree, do it with yourself. When we garden the Garden of Eden, we delimb and uproot the tree of life. Trees eat sunshine, carbon dioxide, water, soil. We have 2 hands and 2 feet, but look closer at the connections. They are parts, limbs of a single body. Do we say a tree, or do we say 1,000-limbed thing? Look at a flower. We say, look, it is. But dig a little deeper and see one finds out that the deeper than deep connections with the soil, sun, water, everything else, connect them into a oneness. We are the flower, the whole process of life. God, beauty will save the world. God, nature, beauty, truth, love. These are not so much questions of what they are, which most people ask, what are these things, right? But what they are not. Answer these questions, because the real question to ask, this is the real question to ask, what they are not. Precisely because there's no answer to it. There's no answer to what they are not. There's nothing that God, nature, beauty, love, and truth is not. That is the real question to ask. What is it not? Ask that who you are. Who are you? It's what you are not, which is nothing. We are psychologically sick, or missing something which would make us healthy. If you don't have your health, many people say you don't have anything, which is what most people say when you're sick. Only when you're sick, right? When you're healthy, you don't recognize the beauty of health, but when you're sick, you realize the importance of being healthy. If you don't have health, you don't have anything. To heal means to be whole, complete, and our minds are incomplete. Our left hemispheres and our right hemispheres are split. Nature comes from I think it's Latin. It means natura, which means to be born. And it's kind of strange because if you look out in nature, all you see is death, right? All you see is animals eating other animals. You see decay. You see nature as full of death.